Are you ready for a different style review? Well, let's do this. Hey viewers, this is DG with DG Model Works, and you heard me right. This is a different style review than what I normally do. Most of my locomotive reviews are all DCC and sound, and this is completely different. This review, absolutely zero DCC and no sound. So what I have here is the Athearn Genesis SD60Es, and of course Norfolk Southern. They're the only ones that have them. I didn't do a review on these when they first started coming out because mainly they weren't DCC, they weren't sound, and I frankly didn't think there was anything to go over, but I was wrong. In this video, we'll go over some of the details of these locomotives and then take an up-close look at them, and then I'll do some straight DC running so you get an idea how they run on straight DC. I know there's a lot of modelers out there that do not operate with DCC, so you'll get a chance to see what they look like and operate and how the lighting is on straight DC. And then stay tuned at the end of the video for a look at the inside of one of these locomotives. Alright, I have these sitting side by side so we can cover some of the things on the front. I have them lined up according to their releases. This was from the first release, second release, and the final release here, latest release. They do come with rubber MU hoses now, which is pretty cool. I did notice on the first and second releases they're on the outside of the plow. On the latest release, might help if I get my big fat hand out of the way, they are behind the plow. They didn't feed them out through the plow on the latest release. Not sure why, but that is the way it is. Also, it's nice now that Athearn is putting in LED lighting, which I'll let you see some of that on DC running later. So that's another very positive thing from Athearn. They are supposed to have fully detailed cab interior, which I can see there is. The seats are a little bit darker brown than the rest of it. I don't see any camera behind the windows there. That's something that some manufacturers put on their locomotives for some extra detail. These ones don't have it. Etched metal wipers, and everything else is pretty standard. Your grab irons and such. But I did notice the MU hose is red on this Veterans unit. Not sure why. It's not really that big of a deal. I've seen red and orange on these locomotives, but mostly I think I've seen orange on the Veterans unit. But again, that's nothing too serious. This one does seem a little bit thicker than the other two, but like I said, the rest of them are orange except for that one. Even when we go to the back, you'll see this one's even orange on the back. So I'm not sure if they did that just to kind of blend in or what, but that's really the only differences amongst them on the front. Now these do have the Athearn McHenry plastic couplers too. So you may want to switch them to Katie's if that bothers you. Alright, as we look at the top of these, nicely done PTC antenna arrays, already on there for you. As far as the top, everything is pretty much the same. You got these fans are all see-through exhaust, and yes, you can see some of the electronics in there, but you can on most all the other ones too. It's just hard to hide that stuff. And these are all see-through. Now, the Veterans unit does have a different horn on it than the other two. According to Athearn, they put Nathan 5 chimes on these, but I thought the prototype had Leslie RS5Ts on them, and but I am not real knowledgeable on horns and bells like some of you guys are, and I know some of you aren't afraid to point it out either. So do me a favor, you'll have to probably do a little bit of your own homework, or you already know, but there's a look at them. The two on the outside definitely look like Nathan 5 chimes to me. But like I said, I thought the prototype was supposed to have Leslie RS 5Ts, and Athearn says they come with Nathan 5 chimes, so it's up to you to decide on that one. Looking at the back, everything is exactly the same across all three of them. Orange MU hoses, or cables, rubber MU hoses, McHenry couplers. Do notice I have a broken handrail here. I didn't notice that before. Other than that, like I said, everything is the same across the back. Get a look at the sides of them here. Lots of detail. They did do a lot of detail across these things. This vent is see-through. That one is not. Neither are these back here. Truck detail is really nice. Got your e-brake chain, your e-bell. I did notice I'm missing a wind deflector here. And it's probably long gone, or was never on it. I mean, some of these detail parts that Athearn uses, like the wind deflectors and even the lenses for the ditch lights, they just use a tacky glue to hold them on, and it doesn't dry solid. I mean, they practically fall off. They're not held on very well. I wish they'd use a more solid glue, which I will probably do myself, because if not, I mean, you can just barely touch them things and they'll pull off. But nice detail, minus the one I'm missing. And like I said, everything's the same as far as what grills are see-through and which ones aren't. But I think they did a fantastic job with the truck detail. All the extra piping and everything down there too. These do not have rotating bearing caps either, like some other manufacturers. There's that missing or a broken handrail. Overall, really nice. Now these do also come with tinted windows, as you can see there. That one does have tinted windows. I don't think this one does, and it's supposed to. I can clearly see right through that one. You get a good look at the cab interior though. Alright, try to get some running in here for you. So, see if you can see, the light's not that bright. I'll try to do it fast and slow. Fast for the lights, slow for the movement. All LED lighting. And you can get it to move pretty slow. I like it, pretty nice. The number boards both light up front and rear. It doesn't matter which direction you run in. I tried to kill some of the lights so you can see the lighting. Ditch lights are definitely brighter than everything else. These locomotives also come with ground lighting. I know they work on DCC. I can't tell that they're lighting up on DC though. A good shot of the lighting. Some of the models have a little bit nicer lighting than the others. It's model specific. That's That's through any manufacturer. These things run really nice. I've never had a problem with Genesis drive lines. And again, you can get these things to really crawl, even on DC. Granted, they're not even broke in yet either. That one has a little bit of an odd noise to it. Alright, and as I promised, this is what the inside looks like. A little bit different perspective for you. There's your 21 pin plug. If you want to remove this and change it to DCC, that's where you put your 21 pin DCC decoder. If you add sound, there's where you put your speaker, 28mm speaker. You remove this weight with these two screws, your speaker goes there. Here's all the wiring, of course, going to your all LED lighting. Individual LED lights for each ditch light. And there are your LEDs for your ground lights, which those are on a function by themselves, I do believe. And just as a little hint, I will be adding DCC and sound to one of these locomotives, and I will video it. So if you're interested for some more information on these locomotives with DCC and sound, please stay tuned. There you go. And I will say, this is one of the locomotives from the latest run, and when I received it, I had two steps broken off. The bottom two steps were broken off, and this spare knuckle coupler was off of it too, and they were luckily all three laying in the box. So I had to glue them back on. It actually looked like something hit the rear pilot and kind of broke them off, but luckily I was able to glue them back on. Another thing you can see with me having the shell off is some of this underbody piping that is separately applied, and some of the side details, like this piece of chain here. Alright, that's my review of the Athearn Genesis SD60E DC only. Something different, and I will be putting DCC and sound in at least a couple of these. A lot of them, you know, I'm a Norfolk Southern collector fan, and a lot of these will probably just be sitting in a display case. But I will be doing some DCC installs in some of them, and I will video one of them. So if you're interested in watching that, look for it. In closing, I would like to just say thank you to Athearn for actually being the first one to mass produce the SD60Es in HO scale. It's kind of a limited market, Norfolk Southern guys only. So I don't look for many companies to actually mass produce these. So at least Athearn took notice of that and did it for us Norfolk Southern guys. So kudos for them for that. Overall, I think they did a fantastic job on these. The detailing, I'd say they detailed it in all the right spots. And by that I mean there's a lot of underbody detailing, truck detailing, as far as that's concerned. Now where it's maybe lacking detailing would be separately applied lift rings around the long hood area. There's a lot of molded on ones, but I'm okay with that, and I'm going to tell you why. Because whenever you're grabbing your locomotive, where are you reaching for? Right here, or even if you're grabbing around the gas tank or fuel tank, your hand is always in this area, and you just run the risk of breaking them off. And at least I'm not quite as afraid to grab a hold of these ones and move them and pick them up. I don't feel like I'm going to break them or break something off. So when I say detailed in all the right spots, that's what I mean. So overall, I mean, since they're the only ones that have took the initiative to actually mass produce these, I think they look fantastic. I think they nailed it as far as that's concerned. LED lighting. I'm glad Athearn finally switched to LED lighting. It only took us modelers how many years of crying about that. Anymore, LED lighting is the way to go, and they can look just as realistic as incandescent bulbs, as long as it's done right with warm white LEDs, you know that. So I like the LED lighting. The rubber MU hoses, I thought they'd be a little bit more durable, but I'm not so sure about that. Time will tell. The driveline, it's typical Genesis driveline. They're not the quietest motors, but they certainly aren't the noisiest. And they're not that loud. That I don't have a problem with Genesis driveline. It just works. So simple as that. As far as the detail parts being broken, that seems to be the new norm anymore. Out of 4 of these locomotives, two have issues, but this little handrail, that could have been me, I don't know. I think I can glue that real easy. But in this day and age where us modelers seem to be wanting more and more detailed parts or pieces and locomotives and rolling stock, that's what you're going to run into. I mean, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. The more detailed they are, the more delicate they are. And anymore, it's hit or miss. When you get one, you don't know if it's going to be something broke on it or something missing or not. And that's something I've been dealing with for years. And I used to get really upset about it, but I had to resort to the fact that if it's something small and something simple that I can repair on my own, that I'm just better off taking a deep breath, relax, and just fix it. And so I don't get quite as bent out of shape anymore if it's something that I can fix and it's not anything major, because I don't know, it's just how it is anymore. Alright, that's it, and I want to say, please, if you like the videos I make and you want to see more, please subscribe and check out some of my other videos and stay tuned for upcoming videos. And I appreciate you watching, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe.